I forgot this fucking snake eater. Okay. It's legit snake eater. Okay. Well, forgot about that. Alright. Well, it's been a while since I speedrun this game, so hopefully I can actually bust out a good time for this game. Other than that, but it ain't blue knees. It ain't blue knees. I don't know about blue knees. But not for honor, but for you. Of course. Anyways, yeah, I haven't run this game in a while, so I'm probably gonna have a lot of fucking rust in me. Which, right now I can see the rust at the moment.
What in the hell crossed your mind? The fuck is happening to you?
But yeah, there are new skips in this game. I don't know how the fuck there's new skips in this game. Thanks Hippo for finding new skips in this whatever game it is. And we're actually gonna try to actually do the skips.
I gotta get out of here.
Skips requires me to actually skip, if I'm not mistaken, the chapel. And one of the rooms that is like pretty much, whatever that room's called. Hold on. Wait. What? Oh yeah, forgot. There we go.
What?
AJ Games. Good luck skipping church. I'm gonna skip church, that's for sure.
I should find a nail or something to hang it.
That's right. That's right, brothers. I'm gonna skip church right now. I don't really care if my rust is like fucking bad. As long as I could get this, like, these few skips, I'll be alright. I forgot about this game already. That's how bad I am with these games.
What the hell has Dad been doing?
Open up the door.
My notebook.
You're the photographer? Yes, of course. How are you doing, stepdad Grimace? Hope you're doing well. Also, if you kind of tell that I'm a bit tired, it's because I went out today.
I think Grandpa had a generator in the basement.
Touched grass today. Copium. I'm alright, bro. Yeah, that's good. That's good, daddy, y'all. Alright.
From the moment of first contact, it is already
I know fucking whoever it is, fucking,
attaches
you know,
itself to a human
I don't even know what fucking who did,
parasite of sorts.
Hippo. Hippo's the guy who actually, like, found a lot of these skips and shit.
Last part of their soul.
I don't even know. Yeah, he found this shit, which is like fucking ridiculous on how the fuck he found this. Wait, hold on. There, he found this shit. I don't know what the fuck is this. Look, I'm floating. Look, look. I'm Jesus right now. I'm gonna be fucking Jesus again. Oh, I'm Jesus. Like, how the fuck did he find these kind of shits? I don't understand. 420.
Far the best way is to obey.
Smells like grass. Yeah, I touched grass.
Obtain that which it seeks. Only then will the demon leave of its own accord.
Rubbing against everything. Yeah.
Usually they enter the earthly plane through certain objects that they use as conduits
To
between worlds.
whatever it is, water droplet.
If you rid yourself
510,
of this
420.
object later,
510,
demon has made the
420.
contact it needs and already walks among us.
Among Us.
In the first stages of possession, the host human tends to withdraw from friends and family.
Yeah, 510, 420. I'm just gonna remember this fucking thing.
This is
That
the
I'm
result
possessed?
of the spiritual battle between the host and the entity.
510,
Control over the mortal body.
420. There we go.
Symptoms that indicate that the possession is progressing are dizziness.
So what is it? 2 something water droplet. I don't remember what it is anymore.
Intense
Oops.
as to render the host
2
unconscious.
planet water droplet. Okay. Yeah, I haven't fucking run this game in a long time, so I don't remember what anything is. But I was thinking, if he did fucking like float up like that, I was thinking. So the first time that I watched the fucking video, I was like, oh, he did that thing. Is that the actual skip? But then it's like not, because you know you can't really skip this part for some fucking reason. I wish you could actually skip this part, but like you can't. So like, there's no way for you to skip this part, but there's other ways to skip other parts as well, which is like a good time save. But you know, it is what it is for now.
There's just no way I can't be possessed.
What the fuck is this? Hold on.
Those pictures, that leg, that
I wanna see this fucking video.
Dad thinks it was me, but oh God, my head. A door.
I'm just looking at the fucking
door.
Video.
What's happening to me? Is this what that man was talking about? It can't be happening to me.
Also, yes, I have a lot of rust, so this is gonna be really bad for myself.
What?
Two planet water droplet. Okay.
This is impossible.
2's right. 2 is below. I always thought that 2 is actually on the top for some reason. I always think that 2 is like above for some reason. I forgot that it's not above, it's below. Alright, so if we could actually get a good time, a decent time on this game, I think I would probably just call this game. That's about it. And then hey Metal, I probably just call this game and then I'll just install the next one. But hopefully I could lower this time down a lot more. I don't even know if I could actually lower this time down a lot more anyways. We'll see.
I won't be able to open it easily.
So don't worry about the time. The time saves are not really like time save is not really 32 seconds. It's just, you know, the splits are as it is, and I'm stupid as fuck to actually have these kind of splits. I don't read the splits, by the way. I don't read the splits, by the way. Splits doesn't mean anything. Actually, my sum of bets do not mean anything as well. Like, if you were to think about it, my sum of bets is not really that good as well. It's just, you know, there is a fucking there is a split for everything, you know.
June 17th, 1987, 5:27 a.m. I am now entering MADiSON Hill's basement.
Good luck with the whole fucking epilepsy, because there's gonna be epilepsy galore. Yeah, this is like one of the reasons why I didn't want to submit this game to GDQ in the first place, because, you know, there's epilepsy. One, the slight sensitivity. Two, you just don't really do anything much, as you can tell. Like, you don't really do anything much for like God knows how many minutes or so. But I do not know if they would take it anyways. If they actually would take it, sure. If they don't take it, I don't mind. But the reality is that this game has a fucking whatever amount of time of fucking unskippable cutscene and shit. But I want to see this video. Give me a sec.
They're all mutilated. Legs, arms, they're just everywhere. I can't see MADiSON. I don't think she's here. I gotta get out of here.
Oh God.
I don't know what the fuck I was watching. I was watching a video that has a guy who danced on, like a Japanese guy who danced on TikTok, and the caption is, "The other night I dreamt that this guy was trying to kill me. I wish I was kidding. I don't know why. Help." And it's just a guy is a guy, is a Japanese guy who dances weirdly on TikTok.
Is that you?
I don't know how to describe it, but it's fucking okay, sure. And he's like, okay, sure, yeah, they do that, or he does that. Oh shit, VLC jump scare, what? Damn, the VLC, bro. I'm actually scared of the VLC.
Put your hands up where I can see them.
Oh shit, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Look, it's coming. Feet fetish, foot fetish, feet fetish, every fetish that you think of. It's a feet, foot fetish, everything you would like about it. I don't know. Hand fetish, feet fetish, limbs fetish. That could be a thing.
This cannot be real. So this fucking camera.
Speedrun fetish? Okay, is there actually like some kind of like speedrun fetish? Whenever you fucking like get a world record or get a PB, you have like some kind of fetish that like you would hope. Wait.
Oh God. Where am I?
Anyways, yeah, does someone actually like fucking, you know, hold on.
Is it possible that she's
Like, I feel like someone's actually gonna fucking, you know, like, I don't know, has some kind of turn on to someone having a PB or someone having a world record, you know? Like as they always say, it's world record for sex. As they always say, it's world record for sex. But does that count as a fetish? If you were to say world record for sex as a fetish.
Yeah, I don't understand. My head.
Sorry, what? What's up, Death Chain? World record for sex? Yeah, world record for sex. Do you not know? Do you not know the meme? It's a very well-known insider joke Silent Hill meme from 2020, I think, or 2021. I don't remember. It's either one of them.
This is huge.
How you doing, Death Chain? Hope you're doing well. 10. No, okay. Very good lore. I'll talk about it later. Just give me a sec. 25. Okay. What is this one?
This is quite strange.
13. I'll put you here then. What was that time? I don't remember. Like 5:05 or something. Got another 510? What? How many 510s are there? What the flying fuck? Yeah, how many 510s are there? I just don't know how many 510s are there at the moment. I'm doing alright, trying to stop my hand from being a bit. What the fuck are you doing? Masturbating?
The entrance.
Stop your hand from masturbating, dude. The fuck? Stop masturbating. Hardcore gaming? More like masturbating. What the fuck? Stop getting your hand to masturbate, man. You know, you need fucking Jesus. You see Jesus right there? That's not Jesus, actually. That's a Bloody Mary, but like, you know. Oh, I'm actually dumb. Yeah, I'm actually dumb, but whatever. I did something wrong, but whatever. I'll talk about it later. 7:45.
Grandpa's office.
Stop! 7:45.
Grandpa.
Get out of here. 10, 25, right? 10 and 25. So I guess 10 is the circular one, and then 25 is the
45 police officer.
True gamers abstain for all lewd acts. Optimal perform. Yeah, true. Also, I need to remember these times. Remember these numbers 9 and 11, and I think 5-8 if I'm not mistaken. Unless it's with your mom. What? My mom? Why you gonna talk about my mom like this, man? My mom didn't do anything. Oh, crap.
So Grandpa tried to contact Grandma with this thing?
Also, don't worry about the time loss. Time loss really doesn't fucking matter, I think. Also because I didn't fucking attach the fucking whatever painting it is, the child painting, so I had to do that sooner or later as well. So this is 10. And this is this. If I could actually attach it, excuse me. There you go. Look at that. Yeah, my timestamp is gonna be all over the place, but you'll see the new skip, and the new skip is like fucking weird. I don't even know how weird it is, but it's like kind of weird, I guess. I've been like I knew about this for quite a while actually. It's just I didn't realize that it was a thing until, you know, fucking Hippo ran this game. So as you can see, world record at the moment is 44:57, and my time is actually 51. So on the leaderboards at the moment, I think the last like good time is like 51 if you do this game like with the previous routing. But because of fucking Hippo, I can't believe fucking Hippo. He told me he didn't want to run this game, or he didn't want to like look into this game. And then all of a sudden, hey, you know, I'm Ozzy. I would like to run this game. Oi, mate, I want to run this game because it's interesting. On the red door. That's what he told me. Like the red door, whatever red door he was talking about. He said like, oh, somehow that part interests him. I was like, yeah, sure. If it interests you, it interests you, sure. And then he started fucking doing all these weird ass glitches, and he found like a bunch of them, and it's like Omega lol. Hey Bibu. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, Hippo. I asked him, hey, can you run this game, please? And then he's like, no. And then like fucking how many months later? When was this game released? I remember this game released on August, I think. Or is it July? I think it was July. Yeah, it was July. So, July was the time that this game was, like, released. And I asked, no, Maxi was like, hey, is the speedrun any good? And I was like, you just walk and that's about it. And it's like, oh, do you think I could get into the speedrun? I was like, yeah, probably. And then I said, oh, can you also get Hippo as well? Because, you know, Hippo's like a really good glitch hunter for this game. And then Hippo was like, no. I was like, damn you, Hippo. I hate you. You suck. And that was like 2-3 months ago that I asked Hippo, hey, can you come into the game? And he's like, no. And then like fucking months later, he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna run this game. Never asked me anything, never said anything. And then one day I got a fucking message, like a few days ago I got a message from Arkham Fan, and he was like, hey, you gotta check this video out. This guy did it in under 45 minutes. I don't think that's legit. I was like, wait, under 45 minutes? Probably either he's cheating or either he's cheating or is there a new skip? And then I was like thinking, oh, it's probably a new skip. And then I read the name. I read the fucking name. I was like, Hippo. I was like, wait, it's that guy. It's that fucking guy. I know him. It's him. Motherfucker, it's him. Hopefully I can do this. If I can't do this, then I'm kind of like screwed. How do I do this? Yeah, there you go! See? What the fuck, bro? Oh wait, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Hold on. There we go. See, what the fuck? You skipped the fucking chapel. That's it. That's it. Oh, I had this thinking for like this whole time.
MADiSON.
The whole time I had this thinking, dude.
Coffin. The eye is missing. MADiSON Hale. 1945.
So we can actually skip this fucking part, dude. Wait, so it's like, what? I don't even know how many fucking splits are there, honestly, but we'll see. Because, I need to delete, like, plenty of my skip, I mean, plenty of my splits. I think it's, like, after the wait part, and then I'll just, whatever it is, I think it's after the wait, or is it, like, during the storybook time? I don't remember when is the last split. You know, there's like fucking plenty of them. So yeah, new skip. Poggers, save me a bunch of fucking time now, so that I don't really have to do the chapel part and like get scared over the chapel. So it's like literally like the fucking stupid ass whatever it is then. Yeah, it's just literally like the fucking, okay, the first part of the game where you have to get the little fucking butt plug. That's what it is. Yeah, you just get the fucking butt plug. So it's just literally like that. This is get the butt plug, but instead of getting the butt plug, you get the fucking whatever it is.
The attic.
It's 505, I guess. Attic is 505. There we go. Alright, here comes the other skip that fucking whoever found. Motherfucking Hippo found. Very good skip. I love skips.
John. This is the 4th time I've tried to call you.
Okay, we'll see if I could actually do this because I don't know about this. Oh, there we go. Okay, now to wait here. Okay. Load game. Do that. And it should bring me all the way back here. It's bad there are no out of bounds. What the fuck? The fucking table just flew up. Oh shit. Oh fuck, dude. The Conjuring, man. The Conjuring just happened right in front of my eyes, bro. This game. Okay. Oh wait, I saw it. Hold on. There you go.
Is this the ring she mentioned?
There you go. There's no out of bounds, but okay. What I think about this game is that the out of bounds in this game is like very fucking
My eyes burn.
limited, I guess. I don't know. It's made in Unity. Unity has some games that probably don't go out of bounds
I need to get out of
that
this
well,
fucking house.
you know. But I don't know. I don't know how the out of bounds would work. We'll see.
Where did these come from?
Oh shit, I forgot about this. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do that, just that's for sure. I'm like so stupid right now because I haven't run this game in like fucking a while. What? 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 Wait, what? Oh, I didn't realize that this thing is already done. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize that that part is already done. Yo, what's up, box? Hey, yo, what up? The box is there. Hey, yo, what up? Oh shit, what am I doing? Wait, so Do I need to do this? Oh yeah, I do need to do this. I forgot about this. Here we go. I was like, yeah. Of course, I do not need to do this copium. So that's like the fucking progress of the game anyway, so. There's that. There's that progress. Here we go.
John, I must stress to you how dangerous these demons really are. I've witnessed a few exorcisms in my time. Not everyone lived to tell the tale. These beings are not alive, and that makes them stronger than us.
Are you kidding me? Wait. Am I locked in here? Okay, I'm not locked in here. I was like, wait a minute. Am I really locked in here now?
It gives them power, gives them strength.
There we go.
When someone becomes attached to one of us, it's all but
Hey, Syrup.
impossible to stop. They play with our bodies and
Does
minds
this mean that
until they find
Hope
what
you're doing
they're
well.
that
looking
woman
for.
is attached to the
They're no
camera?
longer
Look, it's Japanese. It's a Japanese cat.
No. John, I implore
She's
you.
no longer human.
I don't know whether this routing is faster than
MADiSON hail, and I'll get back to you as soon as I
Thank you for streaming so I can have background noise. When this game is in sale, probably gonna buy it and it looks cool to speedrun. It was not cool until fucking Hippo found shit, so it's cooler now. Like, it's legitimately cooler now because, you know, fucking Hippo decided, hey, I'm gonna fucking learn how to fucking speedrun shit, you know? I blame
I
Hippo.
need to find a way to end
I fucking blame Hippo. That's it. No problem, by the way, Syrup. I was like thinking of not streaming today, but then I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stream today. Because one, I wanna try to actually get like a better timing for this game. So if I could get a better timing for this game, cool. The other thing is that okay, 3. The other thing is that I do need to de-rust on the Saw because I need a de-rust for on Saw for a GDQ hotfix that I'll be doing in the next God knows how many fucking days. So yeah.
What is happening to my body? What the hell?
Like in the next, if I'm not mistaken, in the next 4 days, I think. Is it 4 days? You tune in? I don't think you could even tune in because, you know, it's gonna be fucking midnight.
The doorbell.
What, 6 a.m., 5 a.m. your time? Because you're from fucking EU anyway, so good luck to that.
She's playing with my
Unless you're like fucking nocturnal like I am, then sure. I will stay up for your run, true. Hoggers. Where is this hole? I love me some glory holes, dude. I love me some glory holes, man. Alright. Alright, let's look at these glory holes real quick. Not this one. Imagine putting your dick into these kind of glory holes. It's gonna fucking hurt with all these like ceramic fucking... The ceramic... I don't know. Oh.
Maybe I can break the wall inside.
Where's my hammer? Oh my god, my hammer's like super far. What the fuck? Actually, there's 3 skips? Yes. I think there's 3 skips, if I'm not mistaken. But, wait, no, there's 4 actually. There's 4. Bring some padding. Jesus Christ. I know, for whatever reason that they actually do, it's like they actually use fucking duct tape to fucking, you know, they use duct tape to fucking... Hold on. Okay, it's not Ashley Smith, so it's you. Like, don't they put duct tape to actually cover the surrounding areas of the fucking glory hole so that it's a better experience to put your fucking dick in or some shit like that? I don't even know why am I talking about this, but sure. I'm cursed. There's 4 actually. If you're thinking about it, there's 4. I won't know because, you know, it's fucking a glory hole and I've never been to a glory hole before. And do you think that, like, in Singapore there is a is there a glory hole in Singapore? I actually don't know. Whatever. I do need to look at numbers real quick because I need to. And I'm fucking dumb. I don't know what the numbers are again. Where is Hippo? Hippo, I love you, Hippo. Where are you? What is my number? What are my numbers? My numbers are okay. My numbers are 911 312. Okay, 911 312. Hey perp. Okay, that one I do not know. Okay, it's not this one. 312. Okay, cool. Okay, let's bring this all the way back because I do not know if I really do need that. I don't even know if the hauntings actually start like right now. If the hauntings actually start now, I'm gonna get fucking the shock of my fucking life, honestly. Boom. Boom shakalaka.
There is no need to cut off the power.
There we go. Okay, so I have a 130, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, 130! Hey! Let's go! Okay, 130 is right there. I want to see the other times as well because I need to know what the other times are. There's a 130 because I've already seen a 130. There's a 510, 420, and a 12. Whatever a 12 is. I don't even know what the 12 is, honestly. There's a 12? Where's the 12 at? So this is a 740. No, this is not a 745. This is 505, if I'm not mistaken. Is this 505? Hold on. This is 1225. Oh shit. Oh, no wonder. No wonder. Whoops. So it's not this one. So it's all the others, as I guess. Hold on. There's a 12. Where's the 12 at? I've never seen the 12 at all. That's a 130. That's a 745, that's for sure. No, that's 420. Okay, I'm gonna do 420 first because I want to see all the other stuff. Okay, which door is closed? This door is closed. So you skip? Yeah, you have to fucking thank Hippo. The fucking dude did it. Fucking dude was like, hey yo, I'm gonna fucking look at this game now. What is this time? Oh, it is 12:25. So I was at the right fucking place. Oh man. Oh man. How you doing, Maxie? Yeah, you skip shit now. I was at the right place at the right time, bro. Jump scare. No. Okay. I don't know anything about this game, so I'm hearing all these numbers. I'm very confused. So basically, you need to find the clock faces to specific clock times, and it will activate or it will unlock the door. So yeah, that's. I asked him, hey, do you wanna find skips or glitches in this game? He said no. I remembered. Alright, I remembered. He was like, no. And I'm like, yo, find it now, alright? Go find it now. And then he's like, no. And then 2-3 months later, he's like, okay, I'm bored. I legitimately messaged him. I was like, when did you get into this game? He was like, I got into this game because I was bored. I was like, what? What? Motherfucker got into this game because he's bored. I'm telling you, man, like I need him to find more skips. I honestly need him to find more skips. This one. All right. I'm hiding in the corner. Probably something easy as well. Yes! You wanna know how easy it is? It's literally paper thin walls. It's literally just paper thin walls and trigger loads, and that's about it. Paper thin walls and trigger loads.
I can't take this anymore.
So in the chapel, you skip the chapel.
I just can't.
You skip the chapel completely because of paper thin walls that you can actually get the fucking plaque to take the eye. So you don't have to do all the candle shit, which is a fucking like. Thank God I don't have to do the candle part. Yeah, fuck the chapel. You can get the tape 3 and the ring pretty much easily now, so you don't have to do like one of the fucking rooms in the game. And that's like what it is as well. What is this note? 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. This MC keeps yapping. Yeah, this guy keeps yapping, honestly. The guy was like, he's like super, he's super like whiny and shit. Like, honestly. This guy fucking whines a lot. Open up the door. Okay. Are you Snake? No. Wait. Shark? Where are you? Give me that. Snake. Wait. You're this. You're this. Yo, what up, bro? Yo, what up, bro? Honestly, like,
The house feels like a
this game could go to like a sub 40 now.
Sure, this is what I was referring to.
I forgot I actually still have this. Because I had this on the GDQ hotfix, I was like, yeah. I actually left this in when I did my whole GDQ hotfix stuff. Is this a human eye? Oh, boo-hoo, human eye. Not gonna lie, if I get good RNG right now, I'll be like fucking like. Oh shit! Wow! Okay, get scared. Get me scared right now. There we go. Wow! Wait, that's world record right now. Okay, well, yeah, I legitimately think that you could get sub 40 in this game now, but I don't know how. It depends on like how fucking good my fucking movement is in this game, but like, holy shit, what a fucking RNG fest. Yeah, my RNG is like super fucking good. How the fuck?
So Grandma wasn't sick at all.
What the fuck?
This thing.
They gave me like the best RNG in the game as well. 0. Okay. 2 6. Okay, 6 2 0. Oh shit! I accidentally paused it. Fuck! Oh, runs dead. Whoop. Wow. You're just too good, dude. I'm built different. For like first time in a while coming back to this game already, taking fucking Hippos' time. Good luck, Hippo. Good luck, Hippo. See you in these nuts land. I need to skip this part as well. I think this is about like a 2-3 minute fucking walk towards the end anyway, so there was that. I mean, technically this game could go sub fucking 40 now, but I don't know if this game could actually go sub 40. I'm not too sure about it, but I did a few mistakes along the way. So the mistakes could cost me a little bit of time, but whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point. Cause I fucking like cut like 7 minutes of my time already. If this game goes to like a fucking sub 40, I would fucking jizz, dude. Not to mention, you know, when you were playing Fear 2, I forgot to tell you what was that thing that you forgot to tell me? How you doing, Jumbo? But yeah, like, I can't believe the run, like this run, right? This fucking run has me talking about fucking putting duct tape around a hole. So that's a better whatever experience it is. 3620. Alma, wait, Ama, yeah, Ama, true. All right, can we sub 42? Sub 43 though. If we can sub 43 this, that would be fucking poggers as fuck. Honestly, hold on. 3 6 2 0. There we go. Yo, fucking quick! 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 Game, quick! I have no time, quick! Bro! Put it in now! Put it on! Quick! Fuck. Man, no more sub 43. Whatever. Whatever. Sub 43 is dead. Not dead actually. He's still alive. Sub 44 is dead. Damn! What a time save. 18 minute times. What the? 18-minute time save. What the? 8 minutes of time save. What? What? What the fuck? Well, I don't have to come back to MADiSON again until like someone actually beats my time. Smile. Me thinks your splits are wrong. No, me thinks my splits are actually way ahead. But it's actually 8 minutes of time save, you know? It's literally 8 minutes of time save. Yeah, in the end he kills himself because like, you know, it's like transference into another body. This game is all about like possession, and then the guy was like, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking transfer myself into another body, that's about it, yeah. Yeah. What do you miss? You miss me getting world record for this game because, you know, this game is kind of crap. That's about it. Shit, dude. Copium, man. This is like big ass copium right there.